So, I thought I would try a night video to change it up. Here's the Christmas tree. Cute husky, if you could see. Everest. Yeah, I thought it'd be cool to change it up since I've been doing these during the day. Made some tea. Burnt my jacket that I got from a friend. You can't see it, but this jacket's really been through the ringer at this point. It was funny because I smelled something. I was like, what is that smell? And then I realized I just burnt my jacket because I used the jacket to hold the pan handle thing. And then I burnt it. So it has like this weird burnt cookie smell. And I half like it, half I'm annoyed by it, but I'm still gonna wear the jacket. I feel like I try and drink tea to de-stress, but then tea often actually stresses me out because I'm like, oh, it's getting cold. And it's like, you're supposed to drink it slowly, but I feel like I have to be really on top of it because I will totally forget about it, and then it's not as hot as I want it to be anymore. And I have that issue with coffee too, but it feels even more so with tea. And it's like with coffee, after a certain point, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I just want the caffeine. And with tea, it's kind of like, And I'm like trying to like de-stress. I'm not really trying to de-stress with coffee. So yeah, it's just like, the more I try not to stress, the more I'll stress out about that. It's weird. Got my Nam-myoho Renge-kyo card. Buddhism for daily life. It's funny, yeah. I remember when a friend of mine taught me about that saying and how it like can help protect you and stuff. And then she drove, I was in shotgun as usual. I didn't have a license then, which was the case for a long time, but so we went to Santa Cruz, which is like 5 hours south of where we were in Mendo. And like as soon as we were like almost there to Santa Cruz, like maybe 20 minutes away, but it starts bucketing, like pouring rain really bad. And her car windshield wipers were broken. Or I think just the one worked on my side, but not hers, which is the most important one. So she couldn't see shit. And then she was literally like just sticking her arm out the window as she was driving, trying to like wipe it with like, I don't know, a shirt or something. And then she pulled over and was like, fuck it, we gotta make it. We don't have time to wait for this rain to go away. And we were so close, but we're like in the mountains. Yeah, and the whole time in my head, I just kept saying that she had just taught me to protect us. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. I said it like a zillion times in my head, just like praying. And it was really scary. And then like when we got back, she was shaking. She was like, okay, I should not have done that. We are never doing that ever again. That was bad. Thank God we're alive. That was really crazy. It was trippy, but it was funny. I don't know. Life really is a trip. Those Santa Cruz trips we made, I feel like we made one or two. I went on, and they were always so interesting. I find every time I've been to Santa Cruz, it's been really interesting. And I've never quite been a fan, but at the same time, I do think it's a beautiful place, but it's really trippy. And they try and keep like this old school, like, I don't know, what is it, 60s, 50s vibe? Historically, culturally, like these like old schooly diner vibe, kind of like the old Burger Kings. And it's just kind of weird. And then it's like hippy dippy, but then it's also a lot of rich tech company people. So that's a weird mix. And then the richness to poverty level is bad, but that's kind of like just how it's going everywhere, but it's definitely apparent there. It's just, I don't know, there's something I really, really don't like about it. The first time I went there, I was pretty tainted too, because as soon as we got there, you know, we went to this hippy dippy cafe that's not even there anymore, and it had like cool little couches and everything. And the girl working there was like your typical, you know, 20 something Santa Cruz person, probably a student. And I hear her talking to a customer, and she just sounds so fake and lame. She was like complaining about like how much traveling she's been doing and how it's been like just like really chaotic, but it was like definitely like one of those complainings, like, but it's actually bragging, like, oh, I just have so many clothes. Like, traveling's actually just been, it's just like one thing after another. First I'm going to Bali, and the next thing I'm going to Washington, and it's just been like non-stop. So much travel, so much money in my wallet from my parents. What am I gonna do? But you know, I'm being grateful about it. I've really learned gratefulness. And then was like bitching at me because I was falling asleep on the couch because me and my friend had driven from LA the whole night and like got no sleep, so I was so tired. And then the couch was so comfy. It was like 6 in the morning. I couldn't help but just like, and I wasn't even like full out sprawling. I was just like kind of like resting on the pillow and closing my eyes, and she was like totally bitching about it, and I just hated her so much. I hated her so much. I was like, bitch, you don't even know what kind of day I've had. Like, I just like took everything and up and left LA. Like, I am on like such a wing and a prayer right now. I'm in such a weird place, and you're trying to bitch at me about this trivial ass thing, and you're so annoying. I hate you, and you act like such a peaceful vibe person. Like, you, she's like, was just being the epitome of like what I hate about certain people. Like, I just hated that vibe so much. And it's, you know, it's pretty rampant in Santa Cruz, San Francisco. You get a lot of that vibe. It's just, I hate it. I hate it. I don't really like a lot of college students either, because I find a lot of college students to be like that too. I also didn't have really the support to go to college either. You know, the money and the everything. But I don't feel like talking about that anymore. I didn't really feel like talking about it at all, or ever really, but it just came up, so. I thought I would look better in this lighting, but I feel like I don't, but whatever. I'm really grappling with this feeling of just feeling really ugly. And stupid, and my voice is dumb, and it's getting really hard with these videos sometimes of thinking that. I was thinking, like, God, why can't I just be prettier and have a cooler voice? Why? But whatever. I am really sad. I'm really sad. And I'm gonna sound really... And I'm, like, annoyed because I said I was gonna talk about it, so I'm gonna talk about it, and I'll talk about it again. But I just, I read the saddest article. It just came up on my news feed and it's kind of trending on the news right now, even though it happened in October and it's December, but the info, I guess, is just coming out more now or whatever, which is another, like, questionable thing, like, why? But also, I guess it was so bad too that people didn't even want to, like, talk about it or address it, and the shock of it all, I guess, and other things. But it was basically about the Israel Hamas war thing that's going on. And I feel like it's weird because there's a lot of, like, desensitizedness to the war at this point, kind of like COVID. It's just like as soon as you hear, like, COVID, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Afghanistan, anything like that, you're kind of just like, oh, whatever. I feel like, because it's just like, it just feels like it's not news anymore. It's just like, it's bad, and that's that, and there's nothing we can do about it. Or it's just kind of like, I don't know. But and I don't really know the nature of it at all. It's really hard to learn about war or COVID or anything because it's just all like, it's so much we don't know about it, and then you're just guessing and wondering, and then it's just so, like, dark and morbid that you don't even want to think about it. So there's that. But and it was weird too because they just kept bringing up October 7th specifically, when this attack occurred. And October 7th is my cousin's birthday, and it's also my friend that I'm not really talking to, her son's birthday. And I remember, being at the hospital when she was going into labor and watching him and getting really close with him. He's a sweet little kid. And that was all just such a trippy time. Yeah, it's their birthday, and yeah, it was the day of this just terrible, terrible attack, and I just saw it in this image of this woman, like, crying, like, talking about it, and I told my friend this. I read it last night. I just, like, I didn't even know how to process it, and I was reading it. It was the BBC one, and as I'm reading it, I realized that I couldn't even skim it, because a lot of articles I'll just skim, but this one I had to read every word, but I had to read every word as fast as possible, which I'm pretty sure was kind of almost how I read Clockwork Orange, but, like, just so fast, like, like I was reading it to save my life, like some emergency race, just because I don't know why. I just felt like I could almost barely handle it, so I had to read it super fast, but I had to read all of it. And just every word was like a bullet or something. It was just so terrible. And I was just reading it, like, I'm not reading this. I'm not reading this. These are, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And I was like, I'm not reading this. I'm not reading this. This is not what I'm reading right now. What is this? What is this article? What? And I told my friend, it reminds me of like the worst stuff I learned in history class. Like the Holocaust, and then there was this other really fucked up one, and it reminded me more of this in the Holocaust just because of the nature of it too, which was like somewhere in like China or Japan or something, and they captured this village, and then the soldiers just raped all the women, and it was really bad. And like some of them were like really young girls, and it was just like that. And they talked about how like this was like systematic rape, and like using rape as a form of torture, as like a form of war, like, and weaponizing rape and just targeting women specifically to do that. I don't know what the reason is behind it. I remember in my history class with the village in Asia or whatever, it was like partially because like the soldiers, maybe they just, they really wanted to have sex, I guess. Like they had pent up rage, so maybe that was part of it, but it's also like this women hating thing. And that's why I was just really intrigued by it too, of like the women hatred, the violence against women and girls. Like one of the stories, I'm gonna put a big trigger warning if I post this, but as if I'm gonna post anything. But like one of the stories, this guy like, and then nothing's like, it's weird too because like they can't say anything for sure. These are all like accounts, and it's like, yeah, it's hard to get exact details and say for sure this and that happened, because like every witness is so scarred that they can barely even report it. And they said like most of the people that survived it are like killing themselves or like in serious psychiatric help. And apparently like this attack was also like at a festival, and like one of the pictures just looked like a little music festival or something, like some kind of festival, like very civilian, recreational like area or something, because it was a Sabbath day, like a Jewish thing, I guess. And yeah, and like just a lot of like cutting body parts, cutting all the bottom halves of women off, like gutting them. Someone like cutting this woman's breasts off and then throwing the breasts around, passing them around. Like gutting a pregnant woman and like taking the fetus out of her and stabbing them, and like gang rape, just, and yeah, mutilation, just so much fucked up shit. I don't even know how I'm talking about this, and I'm like talking about it like so normally or cavalier. I'm not meaning to. I don't even know. It's just, yeah, it was just like the most fucked up. I told my friend, like, this might be the most fucked up article I've ever read in my entire life. Because I feel like when I went over that stuff in history class, it was like high school, so obviously they had to like chill it out a little bit. Even though like I do remember learning some pretty horrific stuff still. This was just like, this article did not really hold back on how horrible it was, and how this is a huge crime against humanity. This is bad, and how this part of Israel is not the same and like it's just like completely so scarred and ruined. Like the atrocities are so great. It's so insane. Bodies everywhere. A lot of bodies burned, so they don't even know how many victims. And just like, yeah, like the things that they did were just so evil and twisted. And to like young girls too, and then there was also lots of bombs and stuff, and like I'm sure I guess a lot of men were dying too, but there was definitely a clear like use of rape and violence on women too. And it was weird how they ended the article. This one person was just saying one of the hardest things was seeing the earrings that the women chose to wear that day, and smelling their perfume or something. I know earrings was one of them. I can't remember if like that was the hardest thing. I don't know why. Because like maybe that gave them the sense that this was a real person that woke up that day and put on those earrings and did not know that they were gonna watch horrific bloodshed of evilness and evil, and how it terrified her as a woman to be a woman. And that's how the article ended, something like that. Just so I wonder if any other article will compare to that one specifically on how they wrote about it. And just all the people that they said like so many witnesses have already killed themselves, or survivors, and like the others are like in psychiatric care and they are not okay at all. Obviously there's no way you could, like, how do you come out of that? How do you survive that and live to tell the tale, or live at all? Like, how? I don't. And you know, the one thing I always like about terrible things like that, like, is the perspective it gives. Like, oh, you think your life is hard? Like, look at this shit. You're fucking fine. But it's also just really depressing because it's just like, wow, if such evil things are going on, then what does even matter? Like, what does it matter if I can find a job or a boyfriend or have a family, like, when all that is going on? What does it matter? What about all those other people whose lives were completely destroyed? What about those people whose last moments of their life were such sickening things? Like, why? Why does the world have things like that? Why? If there is a God, why would that be a thing? Why is it that they came to this earth and had to go through that, and I'm just here on this earth struggling with existential crisis in this like totally like not comparable way? And it's funny because it's not funny, but the night before last night, I wrote one of the darker things I've ever written. And I had just been listening to is it Biba Doobie song, The Way Things Go. So in my head, the writing was to the tune of The Way Things Go, that song by Biba Doobie. / also kind of this song from Bright Eyes that my friends sing that I can't remember. That it's like a really sad one. Is it the If You Walk Away, I'll Walk Away? Maybe. Because I know my friend does sing that one a lot, but it might have been another one. But I think it's that one, but I'm not sure. So it was a mix of those two songs, tunes. In this ironic way, though, with the way things go. Like, oh, this is shit, and this is shit, but I guess that's the way things go. But I don't say the words, that's the way things go. It's just the tune in my head for the writing. And I was just it came into my head and I just started writing, yeah, all these things that I was noticing in my life right now and the people around me that is really fucked up. And then in my life too, like all this just really fucked up stuff. Should I read it? I'm pretty like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Maybe I will. But I wrote it and I was like, fuck, that was really dark of me. I took a turn and then I sat there silently and then I just started laughing. And I've never really had a laugh like that. The only other time I had a laugh like that, and it wasn't quite the same. And it's funny because I've sometimes thought about that laugh that I had this one time and like missed it. Like, oh, I miss having a laugh like that because that was just so interesting. But with this one time, I was upset with my life and everything, and then was like, fuck it, I'm gonna move in with this guy that I just met that likes me, that and I was like, can I move in with you? You know, he like wanted a relationship or something, and I was like, well, I'm in a pickle, can I just move in with you and we'll be together? I guess. And he was just like, yeah. And then I just took all my shit and I went to Hollywood and from the valley, and as I was taking everything, I accidentally spilled some like ink from a pen somehow onto the carpet, and then I couldn't get it out. And I was like, oh shit. And this roommate was really anal about shit. And I was like, and I just left a post-it note that said, sorry, not sorry. and then I bumped into this guy that I'd been seeing that was my neighbor in the apartment complex as I was moving all my shit out. And he was like, what? You're leaving? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what? And I was like, huh, bye. You kind of suck anyway, cokehead. He didn't totally suck, but you know, coke doesn't do anybody any favors generally. And then yeah, and then I think I even talked about it with like the Uber driver. I was like, am I crazy? And they're like, yeah, you do what you gotta do. I don't know. It was just so nuts. And then I just showed up at his place in Hollywood, and then all of a sudden I just started laughing, and I just couldn't stop laughing for like a good 5 or 10 minutes. It was just like this crazy hysterical laugh. I'm just like, I can't believe I did that. Like, what? But it was like kind of evil and dark, but like also just like, it was so weird, and I couldn't stop. And I was freaking the guy out. He was just like, okay, what's so funny? Why? Okay, you can stop laughing now. Are you alright? It was just like the Joker moment, Harley Quinn moment, or something. And so it was kind of like that after I did this writing, but it was different. Obviously, because it was. I just tossed my pen. It felt a little different, but similar. But it was intriguing, but it was just so interesting. I was just like, wow, I'm really doing that laugh right now. It's been a while. I've only done this laugh like one other time, really. Maybe a couple other times. It's pretty rare, though. Those are the only ones I can really recall. But yeah, it just came, definitely same way, like it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and then it's just like, there it is. And I just started laughing, this like weird, like kind of like life's a joke in a really dark way laugh is the vibe. I don't know how to explain it. It was so trippy, but it is very therapeutic, I will say. Like, I guess that's the way things go. It is still funny to me. Sometimes, like, and I had this thing with my dad. I almost drowned once, and then this old lady saw me like on the side of the pool and like picked me up, and then my dad was just laughing, like, "Huh, did you have a nice dip?" And everybody else was really worried, like, "Are you okay?" And like I, for years, was upset because I thought maybe my dad just doesn't really care about me that much, actually, because he just thought it was funny. And I told him that once, all upset. I was like, "You laughed when I almost drowned." And he was just like, "Else, shit, that bothered you? Oh my god, that is a coping mechanism for me. I laugh when I'm really scared. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I was just scared." And I get it so much more now. And I do that. I do. One time I was in school and they told the whole cafeteria to stop talking because we were being too loud and everybody to be quiet. And then I just started laughing just because it made me nervous. And then this like teacher was yelling at me, and then I just couldn't stop laughing out of nervousness. It was bad. But yeah, different kinds of laughs there, but definitely similarities. Maybe I'll read it. I got the notebook out. Other disclaimer, I realized that, I mean, everybody that I kind of call out in this, I love them, and I don't mean anything bad, really, and I get it. And also, I might have jumped the gun a little bit in some ways with the one, because I thought they sent me this picture of this one person that I think is like a rapist, but maybe it wasn't that person. I think I was wrong. I don't know why I jumped the gun, because it was a picture of them with this person, and they're like always together. They're like roommates, so I thought it was that person, but I don't think it was. I remember staring at it too, like, is it that person? And at first I was like, no, it's not. And then I was just like, wait, I think it is actually. But now I think it's not. So thank God, because I was actually a little mad at them. Like, did you really send me this picture of this person you know I hate? How many times do I have to tell you I hate this person? Do not send me a picture of them. I was really mad, but I don't think it was actually them. So I really jumped the gun. And this other person that I think is a creep, that may or may not be doing questionable, creepy things, I don't know if that's true. I just really don't trust him. I don't trust old guys that like to talk to a lot of pretty young women and give them money. Who would trust that? My aunt is so on my side, and I was just like, no, I've tried to trust that before, and that was a mistake. Let me tell you. If anything, there's an ulterior motive there that is creepy. And even then, I still am like, I have my reasons for the skepticism. But it's hard for me to tell if I'm just jumping the gun out of my own triggers and like how much I don't trust humanity or people. But also like, I don't know. I mean, I want to punch that guy. I get so mad. I'm like, people need to just die already. I'm so hateful, but I don't know. I'm venting right now. Okay? Oh, fuck it. Well, there's a Christmas tree, I guess it's pretty, and I got it so the star on top's not crooked. It's like as a song, like, there's a Christmas tree, I guess it's pretty, and I got it so the star on top's not crooked. I can't do it as a song right now. And it's another broken home holiday. with another winter heart. And the blues are glowing like a kid's show with dark magic. That's a reference to Bluey, the kid's show. Well, there's a Christmas tree, I guess, is pretty. And I got it so the star on top's not crooked. And it's another broken home holiday with another winter heart. And the blues are glowing like a kid's show with dark magic. And it's tragic, but I guess everything's okay. And I guess I'll just play with the kitten with this pen and pretend I can make it through December. Like that song that I remember. It's just another month of ember, and the fire won't go out if I just tend to it. And I guess everyone I know is a little lost, and maybe we're all miserable, but I guess in this we're not alone. We're just getting by. I'll just keep trying to find work and make some money. And my friend sends me a picture of a rapist. She knows I hate him but acts like he's okay, 'cause she forgave him. And I guess it wasn't all that bad. I just remember her trying to drink herself to death, and Lord, I've been there. You black out, but you don't forget. And waking up is screaming in regret. And my other friends have dogs they shouldn't have. And this guy is back at the place he's been avoiding. She says he can be a good dad when he decides to be around. It's like everyone I know succumbs to evil, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'll let it go, let you do what you gotta do. And I guess I'll just keep quiet, even though I preach about speaking up. Guess I'm full of shit because it seems like it's all hopeless. And my dad knew I was raped and he did nothing. He let me go back to work there and said nothing. And when my mom was cruel, he said just play along. I thought I was strong, but I felt like a coward in quicksand. And the worst part is they act like nothing's wrong. And my cousin doesn't care if this old man is a creep. He could be part of the reason the marriage dissolved, but he gets free things. So he says whatever, he don't give a shit. And maybe they're not sucking his dick, but then why does he give them all this money? He just likes to help pretty young women. Yeah, bullshit. I'd like to shoot his ugly face off with a gun. He makes me disgusted to be Irish. I wish I wasn't straight at all because I hate men. My friend says you should give up on men, then says don't go all lesbian. So I guess I don't have any real friends or family. I think everyone around me is lost. They're mine. And the only one who seems to understand me now is going blind. But I guess at least we're alive. And my dad hates Christmas, but he loves Halloween, which is funny because he ruined Halloween for me. And that was the first. And that was the first. That was the first night I was raped by that fucking pig. If my dad loved me so much, why did he let me go back to work there? Oh, if he loved me so much, why did he let me go back to work there? I don't know where he hid when our mom screamed in our face. You know, I wish he had just divorced instead of staying and making her take medication and make fun of her all the time behind her back like it wasn't obvious. And you made me take the same goddamn pills. I don't know who to hate more anymore. And pity doesn't feel any fucking better. I don't know why we keep on living, acting like we're doing fine. sweep it all under the rug. Life's a prison anyway. God, it does keep going. God, Jesus. And Christmas was the day he shot himself in the head, and my ex pushed me out the house in the cold with my bare feet. And the trauma was dehumanizing and scary, but it pushed me into dark submission. I cowered and gave up and did whatever I could to please him. Just let me in, please. Don't leave me barefoot in the woods at night. And his dad hid in the other room and scoffed at me when he said I was a leech, and I said he'd wind up alone and hate it. And I told my best friend all of this, but she'll probably act like she doesn't remember that. And she got with him anyway. She acts like it was an accident, but she had been plotting it since the beginning. So I give up on love and I give up on Christmas. I got a guy who says he misses my butt, my mouth, and my punani. And I said he sounds like he's playing Operation. Then he sends me crappy poetic words like his lover Nick Cave. Oh, do behave. That's my blank impression because I can't remember this movie with Mike Myers as the goofy James Bond. I don't know why for the life of me I can't remember it right now. But that's why I say, oh, do behave. That's my whatever impression. This is so messed up. I think there's a lot of murderers walking around like everyday people, and I bet a lot of them are powerful and popular. I think most people that we know would be a Nazi if they had to. Or they're not the Nazi, just my husband. Or they had no choice, it was the government. And Sanders had a hard life being Jewish, but that bitch is menopausal. And the only woman I know who got that always gets quiet. All the hypocrisy that comes with survival, the disassociation and denial. I get it, I've been there, and I know that we're all trying, but life's a joke, and I don't think it's funny. Being cynical on Christmas isn't cool. Really attractive people suck, and I think they're fake and cruel. But no one's really attractive when we're all kind of ugly. There's so much more to the shadows than being lonely. Harry is only afraid of fear itself. That's fucking corny. It's all stupid, rhymes with Cupid. Fuck this whole thing. I'm sorry, I guess I'm just saying a whole lot of nothing. P.S. P.S. No, I don't have a headlight for ya. I sold my soul and I'm not in California. And I'm pretty shitty. Thanks for asking, by the way. Oh my god. Oh man. It's definitely, it sounds like just a big dumb thing. It is a big dumb thing that I wrote. But it sounds so much better, at least in my head, to this tune of That's the Way Things Go from Biba Doobie. Slash, there's a bit of Bright Eyes. At first, I was like, thought it was just the Bright Eyes tune in my head, and then I realized it was even more so this other tune of The Way Things Go. And yeah, so in my head, it has like this whole like ironic la-di-da melody, but also with like this sad, draining run-on sentence that Bright Eyes kind of does. But yeah, it has this whole melody and rhythm in my head. I just couldn't do that. So I don't really know what the point of reading it was. It's just so messed up. And then I just started laughing. I was quiet, and then I just started laughing very quietly to myself at 2 in the morning while my cousin was asleep. And so that was the night before. And then last night, the next night, was when I read that really fucked up article about Israel. And so, darkness is in high supply right now. Yeah, it is, but everything's fine. And I could be making things way darker than they need to be. And I could be wrong about a lot of things. I was like really mad at my one friend. That's what the last bit is about, because he hit me up randomly and was like, hey, you got this car still? Because I really need a headlight. And I was just like, dude, you haven't hit me up at all since forever. And it was really lame too, because we were like friends, and then you just kind of like ditched me for this other girl. And I was really sad about it, but it was whatever. We were, it's not like we weren't doing fentanyl together, so, you know, I'm blessed to have gotten away from him. But I adore him as a person. Like, he's one of the few people I can really talk to also, but he's also, like, really struggling. And he knows a lot of people that have died. And, but, I mean, shit. Most of the people I know in California, and a lot of people have died now. A lot of people know a lot of people that have died. It's becoming a recurring thing. Basically, life is really actually pretty dark. But, and we are just happy to be alive, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying now. But I was like, just as an example, like, of like how the darkness can be distorting, like, I was mad at him. I was like, I'm not even gonna respond to this. Because he just came out of nowhere and was like, hey, can I have a headlight? And then was like, oh, and how are you, by the way? Like, BTW. And it was just so funny. It was like, you don't really care what I'm doing. You just want a headlight. And I was mad too, because I was just like, he's probably gonna act like I owe him this headlight because he tried to help me with this car, even though like I was helping him with the car and lent him money, and he tried to twist it a lot, and that really upset me. And then I had to like work hard to get my car back from him, even though he hadn't really given me any money for it. He had just worked on it a little bit, and I had to flip out on him to get it back. I was like, I will call the police if you don't give me my car back. And he was like, okay, don't be mad at me. I'm sorry. Here, take it back. And I felt bad too. Like, you know, this is such a politically incorrect thing to say, but like an Indian giver, like, which is an evil saying, meaning like you give someone something and then take it back. But like, someone else was already, this new girl he ditched me for was already like lending him the whole car, and the car like barely worked, and like my other car broke down and I really needed it, and like, but like it's weird, like he tried to mess with me in this manipulative way, but I know he also like respects me and stuff. I'll never forget to this one time, I don't know how full of it he was. You can never tell with some people. I can never tell with myself either. That's the question sometimes. I have another point about this, but let me just focus one point at a time of what comes into my brain. But like, I'll never forget this one time I was just like, why don't you like me? Why don't you want to be with me? And he was all like, have you ever considered, I was like, why am I not good enough? And he was like, have you ever considered that maybe I'm not good enough? I was like, what? He was just like, yeah. And he did have a really bad drug problem, so that's probably what he meant. I don't know what he meant, but I feel like he meant it too, even though I was like, he's just saying that to shut me up. But also, he was like, I just like curvier girls. And it's just such, I was like, I'm just never enough. But yeah, but I don't know, just the way he said that, it just made me like rethink it. Like, oh yeah, and you actually think that, like, yeah, like maybe it's not that I'm not good enough. You're not good enough. You're a drug addict. You're a bad influence. You're going to bring me down to Badlands. So I don't know. It was just, I don't know what my point was with that, but it's like there's a flip side. And then I just realized, like, wait, I'm not super mad at him. I'm not gonna not respond to him because I'm mad right now. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's been through so much. And I always wonder if, like, he's gonna make it past this drug addiction. So I don't want to miss a chance to say something to him, you know? So I was like, hey, I'm not in California anymore. And if I had any way to help you, I would, but I can't. I don't have anything right now. But I hope you're doing okay, and I miss you, dude. And he hasn't said anything back, and he probably won't because I didn't tell him what he needed to hear, which was like money or a headlight, or at least like there to hang out with. You know, like I'm not even there, so it's like, why would he even respond? Like, he can't even hang out with me now. We can't even hang out and do drugs anymore. Oh no. But but I just responded anyway, and I responded to my other friend too, because I was like, wait a second, that's not even the dude you think it is. You need to calm down. Because I wasn't even gonna message her either. I was like, you sent me a picture of this guy I hate. I'm not even gonna talk to you anymore. And then I was just like, whoa, dude. Whoa. So sometimes you need to calm down with the darkness because it can make you think that everybody's evil way too quickly, and then you just want to cut everybody off and be like, I'm done. I'm gonna crawl into my own cave and fuck all of y'all. But I just realized, this part of me realized, like, oh, that's just so not right. Like, I love these people. They love me too. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Although I'm still doing that with some people, but that's also just because I'm trying to trust the feelings, and I still feel like I need space from the people that I'm not talking to right now. But that's hard too, because sometimes I feel like first I think I need space, and then I don't even know how to come back from the space, and then that's it. Kind of how it is with my mom right now. It's been like that forever. But that's the way things go sometimes. Yeah. Wow, it just turns into an hour so quickly with me with these videos. And I guess I'm saying a lot of nothing. Ha ha ha. And then I told my friend about that fucked up article. And I was like, trigger warning, don't even listen to me. You probably don't want to hear this or look this up. And she was like, no, I'm desensitized. I like to know the bad things going on in the world, though. I think I like to know them. And I was like, you know what? Me and you have that in common. Like, me too, though. It's like, it's oddly addictive and helpful but bad. And it does kind of remind me of like people's obsession with like the show Euphoria, and just like having like really dark shit. But God, I'm really gonna have to do a video about my thoughts on Euphoria one day, because there's like also like there's a difference between romanticizing things and total bullshit, and like that's not even like an honest portrayal. And then there's just like really honestly brutal evil things that are kind of news. And I hate how I do this passive thing, like, oh, it's kind of this, kind of that. Butt hurt. I don't think I should ever say butt hurt ever again, because the word is hurting, not butt hurt. But I just do what my dad does too, and try and act all jokey. Yeah, I'm like trying to think of a way to like conclude this or end this. It's like not so fucked up, but it's been so fucked up, everything I've said so far. So like there's no bow to wrap this up. Like Why would you even put a bow on it, you know? Like, that would be weird. Let's put a bow on some garbage. I don't know, people. Oh, I was walking and today on this trail on the water, and I looked at the little Charlie thing again, and then I looked at, there was just this rock on this bench. I took a picture of it, and the rock said always and forever, and then on the side, me. Just on this bench. I wish I got in a better picture of like it just solid, just this lone rock on the bench. But I zoomed up on it more. But I wish I'd gotten one zoomed out, just on the bench, but I didn't. But yeah, just always and forever, and then me. I don't know, and it just caught my eye because always and forever was the very last thing I wrote on this thing I wrote to my ex recently for his birthday, which was stupid, but I'm proud of it still, kind of. Even though everything turned out really shitty between us, I'm sorry if I made you feel evil. I still just love you, even if we're not working out, and you know, you're probably not even gonna respond to me or whatever. I'm glad I got to know you. Something, always and forever. And then I also realized always and forever is A and F, which are my friends, the twins' initials. I hate that I keep saying the twins, like they're not individual people, but sometimes I just feel silly saying both their names all the time, and I'm trying not to say names in these videos. I'm trying. The one guy I don't think cares. He's pretty like boastful about himself, but he's also not. Everybody's just trying so hard to survive in this world, and it's so wacky. And I also was walking by these mansions, and I really just want to egg I wanted to egg them. I was like, I'm gonna egg this one, and that one. I was just like, fuck you guys and your mansions by the water. I'm gonna egg your house. I hate you. I mean, some of them are just so obnoxiously big, too. It's just like, why? Why do you need that much space? Do you even live there? No. Are you ever there? No. And I thought it was funny, one of the biggest ones has barely any Christmas decorations. I was like such a joke amount of Christmas decorations. And then just like a big light shining on the side of the house just so they can see who's near it. It's just like, you guys are pathetic. And it was funny too, because this mansion, I looked at it Google Maps, I was like, is this even someone's house? Because it was so big, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, maybe it's like actually a center or a building. And then on the Google Maps, it kind of like, for some reason said like the police station. But it's not. Unless the police are trying to do whack-ass decorations with a Christmas tree now, which I doubt. Like, it's clearly actually someone's house. But on the Google Maps, it like oddly like said like the police station was there. What? Unless I'm totally losing it and the world's totally losing it. That's also always a factor. Oh, this husky's so cute. She's like, alright, I'm coming back to the couch. Hello. Oh, give me some more of her. Is she not the cutest, fluffiest thing ever? Okay, well, yep, that's the rant video of the day, of the night, and I'm sticking to it. Sometimes I think I only look pretty when I smile, which is a bummer because of many reasons. And even then, you know, I'm still stupid looking. Okay, I'm done. Sorry for the darkness, but you know, this is just like my journal at this point. It's a form of it. And I hope that you're all hanging in there. Trust in the universe. Trust in the universe was one of the posts I saw on my friend's Facebook wall who passed away. It's this really cute picture of her, and trust the universe with a volcano emoji and a shooting star emoji and something else, and it's just so cute. And it just made me totally want to cry. It was so what I needed after reading that article and feeling messed up. And then this YouTuber I like posted a video too that was really empowering and uplifting. It's just like, yeah. And she referenced this show that has a history here, like literally Bob's Burgers. We have plenty of Bob's Burgers stuff here. It says Bob's Burgers stuff on it. But so it's just like all the little synchronicities, and you know, sometimes even when it's really dark and fucked up and you can't see your way out and you don't know where the light is anymore. It's still there. You gotta hold on, be strong, and trust the universe. Even amidst all the messed up stuff, I don't know what God would let all these fucked up things happen. Trust the universe that it's all okay, and those that pass away are moving on to Spirit. Spirit's gonna take them in. Spirit's gonna guide everybody, and it's gonna be okay. And we're all gonna find the light through the darkness. That's what all it's about. Anne Frank, that's another AF. Always and Forever. Anne Frank Diary. What's that song I remember from like chorus? It's like, it's literally a song written from something a Holocaust victim wrote on like the walls of the cell. I believe in the sun even when it isn't shining, and I believe in love even when there's no one there. But sometimes in this suffering and hopeless despair, my heart cries for shelter, just to know someone's there. But a voice rises within me, saying, hold on, my child, I'll keep you safe, I'll keep you warm, just stay a little while. May the world find peace. May the world find happiness. May there someday be peace. I totally butchered it. I'm just like trying to remember the words. It's something like that. It's a really sad, sweet song. When I try and find a song, I just type in all the words I can remember and I can usually find it. So I'll look for it and caption it if I ever post anything. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. December's has a big theme of that between, you know, Hanukkah and everything. All of them have this like theme of hope through the darkness, and that's what hope is about. You know, you can't have hope without darkness. You can't have light without darkness, you know, all that. These are the times to get through the darkest days. And it's funny too because I keep remembering like there's a whole bunch of the world that does not have dark winter days in December. And yet I still feel like there is still this universal thing, like it's still Christmas and Hanukkah no matter where you are. It's still that time, even if it's not cold. And we're all connected. It's gonna be okay. And the light is inside us. And I want to cute animals and nature and things. And breathe and yeah. That's it for now.